Hey there, it's CJ Willie, and I'm cracking a pack. Today is pack number 9 of my Magic the Gathering Ikoria Lair of Behemoths bundle. Check out my preview video on my Ikoria bundle as I explain the concept of what is your pick. I've added the link to the preview video in the description below. So we are down to the last 2 packs in the bundle. Okay, the next pack is going to be it. Anyway, just a quick recap on what is your pick. My friends and I, we buy a booster box. There's 4 of us in the play group. When we get the booster box, we do 3 rounds of draft, typical draft, except for when each round of draft is over, you don't keep the rares. At the end of the 3 rounds, we take all the rares and mythic rares, put them into a pile, and then based upon how we finished, our record-wise, is how we'll kind of draft out or pick the rares and mythics. You know, first place gets first pick, second place, second pick. I was able to get a Luca, Loris, and a Sultai Triome showcase from my winnings. Anyway, let's get to cracking this pack. As I rip the pack, it's from a very a very casual Magic the Gathering player point of view. You know, if you will, kitchen table Magic. So, you know, my picks aren't going to be what the pros or what the experts would pick, but what we in the play group pick. You know, usually what happens is the commons and uncommons tend to be kind of more the featured pick cards, because we know we may not keep the rare mythic rare that we pick, but there's a good chance if you win the round, you're going to get something good out of it. Okay, first card of the pack is Heightened Reflexes. It's a single red mana. It's an instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Put a first strike counter on it. So similar to Kindled Fury, except for the first strike ability sticks around with the creature because it gets that counter. I like Heightened Reflexes quite a bit. I think in draft it's a great combat trick. Most of the time when I played it or one of my friends played it, the creature won the combat, kept the first strike counter, which mattered later on in the game. So a pretty cool card. Next is Coordinated Charge, 5 mana, 4 and a white. It's an instant. Creatures you control get +2/+1 until end of turn. Has cycling 2. The only thing that saves this card is it has cycling for 2 generic mana. Aside from that, I hate the card. Don't like playing it. It definitely can work in a red-white cycling deck, though the 2 cycling is a little steep versus the single cycling, but it's not a card to have like 23rd or 24th in that deck. Speaking of a cycling card that's in the red-white cycling deck but can't even be cast as Frostveil Ambush, 5 mana, 3 and 2 blue. It's an instant. Tap up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures don't untap during their controller's next untap step. Cycling for a single generic mana. I wouldn't even play this in blue. I'm a blue-white kind of, you know, I like to focus on that color combination. I wouldn't even play this in draft. In fact, I drafted a couple of times, didn't even have any interest in playing it aside from cycling. And then one of my friends in his red-white cycling deck just played it so he could just cycle it. And that's really what happens in draft. This is a great card because you're not going to play it, you're going to cycle it. Suffocating Fumes is 3 mana, 2 and a black. It's an instant. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Cycling 2. I didn't like this card as much as I thought I would. It wrecks combat. I don't know how many times I played against it and I got wrecked when I attacked or when I blocked or when I was playing it. It seems to have a little bit of a steep casting cost, but cycling saves it because if you don't need it, you just cycle it and go get another card. Ferocious Tigorilla is 4 mana, 3 and a red. It's a cat ape. At 4/3, Ferocious Tigorilla enters the battlefield with your choice of a trample counter or a menace counter on it. I played this creature, and just about every time I played it, it had menace. I had both of my friends play it in a couple of the rounds. Every time they played it, it had menace. Really no reason to do trample. Menace is kind of a good theme in the red-based decks with red-black or even red-green. I liked Ferocious Tigorilla, and I liked it as a 4/3 Menacer. What's even great is if you mutate on top of it, and whatever ability the mutate card has, and with Menace, does a lot of work. Bristling Boar, 4 mana, 3 and 2 green. It's a boar. Bristling at 4/3. Interesting. 4/3 boar, 4/3 cat ape. Bristling Boar can't be blocked by more than one creature. I had the Wombo combo where I mutated a creature on top of this. I can't remember what it was. I think it was the... Oh yeah, I mutated the Black Menace creature on top of it. So basically, it couldn't be blocked at all. The funny thing is even though I was swinging in, if I remember right, for like 4 damage a turn, I still couldn't close out the game. Simply because the board got into a really weird stall And eventually, because I was doing a little more mutate than my friend was, he had more creatures, had the advantage, swung in with an alpha and won. But it was fun for a moment to have a bristling boar that couldn't be blocked. Divine Arrow, 2 mana, 1 and a white, instant. Divine Arrow deals 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Even though there's a lot of mutate running around, Divine Arrow did a ton of work, killed just about every creature in the format, even a lot of the mutate creatures it killed as well. I'm a big fan of Divine Arrow. I think it's a great card in limited. 2 mana, relatively efficient, though you got to get the creature to attack a block. Typically in limited, creatures are attacking and blocking. Next is Essence Scatter, 2 mana, 1 and a blue, instant, counter target creature spell. Essence Scatter is one of my favorite spells. Any time that I play blue-white and Essence Scatter is in the format, or basically any combination of blue-white, blue-black, or maybe even blue-red, I'll play Essence Scatter. I'm guaranteed to counter a creature. Usually I can hold it in my hand until late game and counter their bomb. Flycatcher Giraffid is 5 mana, 4 and a green. It's an antelope lizard at 3/5. Flycatcher Giraffid enters the battlefield with your choice of a vigilance counter or a reach counter on it. I played it once. Every time I played it, I put a reach counter on it because each of the opponents that I was playing against had some sort of flyer, and I wasn't playing flyers, so I needed some sort of blocker. So I played it with a reach counter. If it was in the white-green deck exclusively, I could see playing Vigilance because there are Vigilance payoffs. So, the card can go either way. Although I'm going to say for 5 mana, 3/5, it's not an exciting creature to play. It's probably like a 22nd, 23rd card. Savai Sabretooth, 2 mana, 1 and a white. It's creatures. It's a 3/1, no other text. This is the kind of creature I like playing in an aggressive white deck, especially, maybe white-red. It's a creature that comes down on turn 2. It's a 3/1. Sure, it dies to everything, but it sure blocks everything. And if you got to keep swinging in for 3 damage, you can do it. In fact, I won. I had it in an Obzon deck, and I won a match with this alone. I had 2 of these, both on turn 2 and turn 3, and I just kept swinging in and clearing out the blockers. And within 2 or 3 turns, I had my friend down to like 6 life, and then I was able to finish it out with my bomb. So, Savai Sabretooth, pretty basic creature, but it's a creature I like, especially in white as a 3/1. They're awesome and limited. First uncommon is Neutralize. It's 1 generic, and it's 3 mana, 1 and blue, instant, counter target spell, cycling 2. If it didn't have cycling, it's basic cancel, which is not exciting, but having cycling makes this card awesome. I like playing control magic, especially on blue-white, blue-black, or even Esper, and having the ability to cycle at the end step when they don't play anything I want to counter is great. So I'm a huge fan of Neutralize. I didn't play it as much in the draft. I did have, because uncommon in draft, especially in a bigger set, you don't see too many. But I did play it in a blue-white deck, and I countered a couple of things, and then one time I did cycle it. And I do remember what I got when I cycled. I got a land, and then after the draw after that, I got a land, and then a land, and so I eventually lost. But, I do like Neutralize, and I will feature it in more constructed type builds. Next, we have Trumpeting Gnar. It's 3 mana, 1 green, blue. It's a beast at 3/3. It has mutate for 5 mana, 3, and then hybrid Simic. Whenever this creature mutates, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. I drafted one of these. It was, I think, second pick out of the pack, and I wanted to play it, and it looked like I was going to play a Bant deck. And then the Bant deck never materialized, and I stuck with a blue-white deck. In retrospect, I wished I would have maybe tried out the Bant deck because I think I could have made this work. I haven't been able to play it, and I haven't had it played against me, so I don't have too much experience with the card. Our final uncommon is Rooting Moloch. It's 5 mana, 4 and a red. It's a 4/4 lizard. When Rooting Moloch enters the battlefield, exile target card with cycling ability from your graveyard. Until end of your next turn, you may play that card. It has cycling too. This is a great top end for the cycling deck. I never had the opportunity to draft it, or I haven't even played it again. My friend did draft it and did play it, in a featured, kind of red. It was more of a Jeskai cycling deck. Rooting Moloch was a great card, did a ton of work. If I had to look at what I've got thus far, Rooting Moloch is probably going to be my first pick. Okay, did we get a cool rare, mythic rare? Haven't gotten a mythic out of the box yet. I did get a cool rare, and it's a rare that I really want to play with. It's Garuda, Doom of Depths, 6 mana, 4 and hybrid Dimir. It's a legendary creature demon Kraken at 6/6. When Garuda enters the battlefield, each player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. Put a creature card with an even converted mana cost from among those cards onto the battlefield under your control. It is companion. Your starting deck contains only cards with even converted mana cost. So we did have one of these in our box. My friend drafted it, and every time he played it as a companion, and yes, this was before the companion rules changed, he won the game. Garuda is no doubt, I can see why they would look to change the companion text. Being able to play this on turn 6 guaranteed, as long as you're hitting your land drops, and then when it enters in, putting a card from either your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard onto the battlefield is pretty powerful stuff. I like Garuda a ton, and knowing, even though I might not keep the rare, mythic rare, this is a card I would draft first because I'm more than likely able to win each of my games. It has a really high win ability. We have a Blossoming Sands, green-white land, and then a Human Soldier. So this pack for me, even though the uncommons are pretty cool, and if I didn't have Garuda in here, I would be drafting the Rooting Moloch. I will draft Garuda. It is too strong. I would probably go undefeated in my matches against my 3 friends in the play group. Garuda was no joke, and like I said, my friend had it. When I played him, I think he won 2-1. The one game I won, he kind of got mana screwed and didn't get his 6th land until later in the game. And by the time Garuda came down, I beat him on the next turn because I only needed a couple of points of damage, and it was 2 points in the air, and he couldn't do anything with my flyer. So anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Take some time to tell me in the comment section what was your pack 1 pick 1. Until next time, when I'm back to crack the final pack, or pack number 10 of my Magic the Gathering Ikoria Lair of Behemoths, what is your pick?